Hi guys, so basically on this episode I'm just going to be walking you through how to remove the governor. For some reason my first video before I did all this didn't work, so there's a sneak peek to what the engine's going to look like after I've finished. There's still some stuff to do on it, but on this video I'm just going to show you how to remove the governor, basically the rev limiter on this 420cc engine from TopMaq. So let's get into it. So basically we're going to start with removing the tank, the air filter and the exhaust. So the tank is just held on by 4 bolts. I'm going to take this off so it's a bit easier to get to. Now there's a little clip just on the bottom here that I'll have to take off once I get the tank off. Just a little clip in there. Tank. I'll just put this back on for now. Alright, so now we'll take the filter off. Just two 10mm bolts. There's a little breather pipe on the back, so just pop that off. That's the filter. that's the breather pipe I was in about. Now you can see everything a bit clearer. Changing that to a Makini, which will just give it better throttle response and a bit more power. So your governor is this arm here. So what that does is when you pulling on the throttle, it will get up to about 3,600 revs. Then this spring will kick in, which will then turn the throttle down, and just basically it just keeps it on that limit, and you won't be able to go over 3,600 revs. So you can remove that, and then it lets it rev up to about 5,000. But I do not recommend doing that without getting a Billet flywheel for these engines, which goes in here, because they run a cast iron flywheel, and they have been known on a rare occasion to get cracks and then explode. So if you are going to take off the governor, I highly recommend to put a Billet flywheel. I will put a link in the video below for them, and they're pretty expensive, but if you want your engine to last and you want to be safe, highly recommend buying one of those. Okay, so just on this video, just for video purposes, I'm just going to be removing the governor and showing you how to do it. So here's a closer look at the throttle linkage. So this is what goes down inside to a counterweight. When the revs get up to a certain point on the little plastic gear that's inside here, there's 3 metal, almost like blades, that spin, and then as they get faster they spin out, touch this bar, which then tells the throttle that you're going too high on the revs, and it backs it off and hits the rev limiter. So once we're done, we won't need this. We won't need any of this. So what we're going to do now is remove this cover. Obviously, if you've got an old engine, just make sure you empty the oil out first, otherwise it can get quite messy. This is a brand new engine, so we should be good. I only use power tools to undo stuff. These have torque settings, so when I put everything on and do it back up, I just do it hand tight with a ratchet and then to the torque specs provided with the engine. Obviously when you're doing this, try and be careful not to tear the gasket. I was wrong, there actually was a little bit of oil in there. So basically now we've got the cover off. You can see on these gears there are tiny dots, and this is showing you where these gears should line up when they get round to that rotation. Inside here you can see the governor arm. So this little arm right here. So basically, on the cover we just took off, this is the governor. And you can see here these 3 counterweights. When you get up to a certain speed, the counterweights open up and swing out. This little center part comes out, pushes on this rod here, which then stops the throttle from going up past its rev limit. So what we're going to do is remove this wheel. So basically, as these are never meant to come out inside the engine, they only really go on one way. So these don't open up enough for you to pull that centre bit out. So as long as you're not wanting to put the governor back in at any point, I'm just going to use some colours, cut the gear wheel down the sides. And that will give me enough room to pull these apart. There we go. And then we should be able to remove. There's a tiny clip, circlip, just inside here. And we need to try and open this up. So now that's removed, I can finally get the rest of the gear off. Won't be using that again. And always remember to make sure and check if there's any washers. You don't want those going inside your engine. And then that's that done. So now the gear is removed, it won't be able to come out and hit the part in the engine to limit the revs. So now it's just time to put it back on. So basically, upon further inspection, because I am moving to a Mikuni cab and taking all of this off, I need to remove this arm. If I don't remove this arm, once all this lever has been taken off, this could swing around inside the engine and cause some damage. So I'm just going to get this removed now, and then we'll get everything back together. So to remove this, we've got 10mm bolt and a 10mm nut on the top. These springs. If you're going to be keeping this, you won't have to do any of this. It'll be fine. It's just if you're fitting an aftermarket cab and you have the throttle cable and everything in the cab itself, then you need to remove all of this to stop some damage occurring inside. There's a washer just on the inside there as well. So the easiest way I found is to keep grinding dust and everything out of your engine. It's just to cut this off at the top there. Just like that. Now, as you can see, there's a hole there. So now we've got to drill and tap that out. Just make sure when you're doing this that you put plenty of grease on the tap to capture any bits of swarf. I'm gonna put a kitchen towel inside the engine there, just on top of the camshaft, just to try and collect as much swarf as I can as well, just to stop it all getting inside the engine and on all of the gears. So I've greased the tap up. Just going to put a rag or kitchen towel in here like that, just to capture anything. So now get a bolt and an O-ring. So I've just got a bolt here with some O-rings on and a washer. I'm going to put some Loctite just to make sure it doesn't come out. Now we can remove this carefully. Now everything can go back on. Be careful to line everything back up. So we'll just do them up. So where it gives me some resistance. Always check in your manual or online to what your torque specs are on your engine. I've just checked and this is 18 pounds. So I'm gonna go diagonally, so top, bottom, just to make sure it's equally. If you are putting a Mikuni or a different throttle on and you've had to take the lever, everything else off, you may as well take all of this off as well, because it's pretty much useless. So it's just a case of four bolts. Was it three? Only 3 bolts. Lift off. There you go. Just going to put those bolts back in. There you go, that's how to remove a governor. So basically I'm going to put a link in the top corner. We're going to be carrying on with this in another video and doing the dress up with the exhaust, fuel tank, fitting the Mikuni cab. I've got an extra coil to go in here to give us more charge for the batteries to run lights. Yeah, so keep an eye out for the next video. Like and subscribe, thank you.